We begin tonight with breaking news out of JFK in New York City. There are reports of shots fired tonight. This is a photo from the scene. Dan Archer tweeted, "Panic at JFK. They're closing the gates at security. Possible shooter." This is what we know right now. The NYPD told CBS News New York calls of shots fired at Terminal 8 came in just after 8:30 tonight. Dozens of people were being evacuated. There is no confirmation of an actual shooter at this time. This is a short video from the scene tonight. Again, developing story here. We know police are there investigating. So far, there are no reports of any injuries. We will, of course, bring you any new developments on air and online. And watch News 4 Wake Up for any new details that come into the newsroom overnight. Meanwhile, neighbors in Orchard Park are checking their locks tonight. We told you yesterday on News 4, dozens of people have reported items stolen from their cars or homes. We've now learned a car was stolen and lit on fire. News 4's Rachel Monjovi just returned from Orchard Park and has more on the investigation into the thefts there. Rachel?
Marissa, police tell us they've received over 25 calls just this week for burglaries and larcenies. I was out in Orchard Park earlier today talking to some residents that were victims of these crimes. A lot of them tell me their cars were broken into and simple items like their clothes and shoes are missing. Neighbors said these are safe neighborhoods and they're shocked this is happening. Police say a vehicle was stolen from a home and was later found burning at the end of Auckland Avenue. Here you can see some of the damage that vehicle fire left behind. But overall, Orchard Park residents are not happy about this and they're hoping police catch the suspects.
It's a disappointment. It really is that the children in our community, or the adults, whoever the perpetrators might be, have created victims in this situation. It's unfortunate. I think the Orchard Park Police Department will find the people responsible for this, and I'm sure eventually they'll have to face the consequences for their actions.
Some of the items stolen in these reports include cash, credit cards, cameras, computers, televisions. Police tell us the suspects appear to be targeting unlocked houses and cars. Anyone with any information on the suspects is asked to contact Orchard Park Police Department. In the newsroom tonight, Rachel Monjovi, News 4 at 11.
Rachel, thank you. Meanwhile, Crime Stoppers is offering up to a $1,000 reward for information on the person in these pictures here. Authorities say the person was caught on camera going through cars on Keller Road in Clarence. If you can help identify this person, call the Crime Stoppers tip line at 867-6161. The Rainbow Bridge is back open tonight. On News 4 at 6, we reported traffic from Canada into the U.S. wasn't allowed over the bridge because of an ongoing investigation there. This is video from the scene just this afternoon. Niagara Falls Regional Police haven't released exactly why the bridge was closed, but a News 4 crew on the scene captured a stretcher being reeled up from the water below. Witnesses tell us a person went into the water, and police haven't said if the person jumped or fell from the bridge. We've, of course, reached out to police. Be sure to watch News 4 Wake Up for the latest information. The National Guard is on standby tonight in Milwaukee. People spent all day cleaning up after violent protests. Demonstrators set several cars and businesses on fire. 4 police officers were hurt during the commotion here. Now, the violence started a few hours after an officer shot and killed Civil Smith during a traffic stop. Police say the 23-year-old ran from police, refused to stop, and had a loaded gun in his hand. Today, the mayor is asking for peace.
So if you love your son, you love your daughter, you love your grandchild, tell them to stay away from this area.
The state is now investigating Smith's death. Authorities say the officer was wearing a body camera.
It is very emotional. It's upsetting. It's just hard right now for us.
More than 7,000 people can't return to their homes after severe flooding here in Louisiana. They were evacuated after several inches of rain fell there just over the weekend. So far, we've confirmed 4 people have died. Earlier today, President Obama declared 4 different parishes of Louisiana major disaster areas. Don Champion shows us the damage from Baton Rouge.
You good?
Volunteers went door to door Sunday rescuing people trapped in their homes after torrential rains left South Louisiana underwater. The Coast Guard plucked 3 people stranded on a roof in Baton Rouge, one of the hardest hit areas.
This is a serious event. It is ongoing. It is not over.
More than 5,000 people are calling shelters like this home. Many fear they won't have anything to go back to.
When I woke up, there was 5 feet of water in my house.
Raylan Harrison and her family were brought to this soundstage that's being used as a shelter. The thought of having to start over is already too daunting for her.
I really don't know.
As the water receded in some places, state officials reopened roads and highways that were shut down. Hundreds of drivers were stranded on one local interstate for more than 24 hours.
It's very crazy. We never experienced anything like this. Hopefully we won't have to do it again.
In the midst of all the devastation, there have been acts of kindness. Strangers helped this man pull his truck from floodwaters. The state handed out more than 700,000 sandbags. They'll come in handy as more rivers and creeks are expected to burst their banks in the coming days. Don Champion, CBS News, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Absolutely amazing to see the pictures coming out of Louisiana, Andrew. Any relief in sight for the people there?
Very little bit, to be honest. The widespread heavy downpours they've been seeing is starting to shift a little farther north, but there's still a whole lot of moisture coming in from the Gulf, so now it's going to change to isolated downpours, a very small benefit. We're still going to be seeing rain in the area, and any additional drop is horrible news at this point. You can see just that stream of moisture and a lot of rain activity showing up on that radar all across the Gulf Coast. So unfortunately, we're going to have to keep a close eye on that for the next couple of days down in Louisiana. To put things into perspective, here's how much rain we got from our soakers last night. A little over 1.5 inches around Wales, Silver Springs, around 1.5 inches, over 1 inch for Cattaraugus, Wyoming. Although it was spotty downpours, take a look at that Buffalo Airport total, 0.06 inches. Yeah, we needed a whole lot more. But to put that rainfall down in Louisiana in perspective, over the past few days, many spots have seen between 20 and 30 inches of rainfall, whereas our deficit for the year is about 8.5 inches below normal, and that's enough to put us in a severe drought. So it's incredibly powerful situation going down in Louisiana, and a scary one at that. Forward up, the radar has been fairly quiet tonight. It is picking up on a few showers just east of Buffalo, though, making its way across eastern Erie and northwest Wyoming County, but that's about it. Temperatures in the lower 70s across the Niagara frontier, a little cooler for you in the southern tier valleys. Pretty calm night on tap. I expect some valley fog setting up. Coming up in my full forecast, though, we'll look ahead to next week. I do have some more rain to tell you about, Marissa.
Andrew, thank you so much. New at 11 tonight. 1 year ago, a refugee journalist decided to put his talent to use by helping immigrants here in Buffalo. You can find Caribou News at hundreds of locations around the Queen City. News 4's Jen Shant spoke to the publisher, who says he plans to keep growing the paper.
When I started my newspaper, I was one just to help our community, to have a voice.
Think of it as a refugee's guide to the Queen City. Rwandan journalist Rubens Mukunzi arrived here in 2013, and he noticed other refugees and immigrants were having the same problems he was, not knowing where to find certain groceries or how to contact a lawyer. Even worse, not feeling connected to his new home.
Karibu means welcome. It's a Swahili word. So when I chose Caribou News to be a unique multilingual, multicultural as a newspaper, is because we do have a lot of people coming in this country, and they do have a language barrier.
Caribou News is a free bi-weekly newspaper. It's published in the top 6 languages spoken by Buffalo's refugee and immigrant communities, including Arabic, Nepali, and Burmese. The goal? Feature stories about immigrant and refugee issues, along with resources and ways to get help. Local business owner Henry Legge advertises with the paper. He wishes it were around when he first came here 15 years ago.
Sometimes you're looking for the things you want to get them, but you don't know exactly where you're going to get it. Because you're going to speak with somebody you don't know your language, so it's going to be difficult for.
What started as a small operation made possible with a loan from Weedy Buffalo now publishes 5,000 copies per issue. It offers a special Ask a Lawyer and Welcome to Buffalo column, but it also gives Buffalo's newest community members a chance to share their stories.
But we give them a voice too, because they want to talk about their life.
Rubens admits the paper is facing the same struggles papers across the country are. Still, Caribou News has grown, and despite an uphill climb, he wants to expand further.
Today is 1 year, so I'm hoping maybe in 2 years, 3 years, Caribou News will become a bigger and bigger.
Jen Shantz, News 4.
More on the way tonight after the break. A sweet story, the innovative way one man is celebrating Buffalo's ice cream history.